ENTPs are everyone's favourite swashbuckling brain boxes, but their mad scientist or mad full stop vibe comes not just from having extroverted intuition as their lead function, but also from having introverted sensing as their inferior function, which gives ENTPs a lack of grounding or stability and consistency, often neglecting the upkeep of their physical environment and sometimes their physical health too. In one of my other videos, I mentioned this theory I had about how you'd go about seducing each of the 16 MBTI personalities. When I say seduce, I don't necessarily mean in the romantic sense, but it can apply to that too. The essential concept underlying this theory is that you seduce a person by appealing to their inferior function. It's been discussed many times with people both advocating and disagreeing with the idea that duals make very good relationships. Duals are personality types that have the same functions but in the reverse order. So in this case, the dual of the ENTP would be the ISFJ. The reason people propose that this works is that each of the two types compensates for a weakness of the other. But crucially, it's because the inferior function is a weakness that is actually valued by each type. So the ENTP's inferior function is introverted sensing. So I'm going to discuss this strategy of trying to embody introverted sensing and the cardinal danger to avoid when employing it. Always be there to talk. ENTPs just love to talk. Now, you might be thinking, isn't being overly available a bad idea? With ENTPs, no. They can be so flighty and flaky at times that they will never crowd you with attention. And the idea that you'll always be there whenever they want to reach out to you will be very reassuring for them. One of my closest friends, both in terms of bond and proximity, since we live together, is an ENTP. In the almost 10 years of friendship, I've never called him. When he wants to talk, he calls and we talk. When he abruptly walks into my room, often having started the sentence before he's even opened the door, we talk. ENTPs just have a habit of barging in. I'm like, dude, things happen in this bedroom. Ethical and legal boundaries are crossed on a fairly frequent basis. Please knock. ENTPs can bring the chaos big time. Being stable doesn't mean you avoid chaos, but rather that you can withstand and tolerate it. I've been in a lot of weird, chaotic, and sometimes just dangerous situations with ENTPs, and I always end up just saying, okay, I'm going to embrace the chaos. Having the ability to remain stable amidst the chaos of ENTPs is a trait that will eventually endear them to you. You will have ideas bounced off you. This is completely unavoidable. The ENTP curse is that they are plagued with possibilities. The way that you can benefit them in these brainstorming or strategizing sessions is to narrow down on the most practical idea they have. Now, the most practical idea they have may not be remotely practical, but if an ENTP is throwing out ideas of how to best achieve some goal, always remind them of a few simple but easily overlooked things. Time constraints. Are they overestimating how quickly they can do it? Energy. Are they just going to get bored or exhausted or burn out? Other people involved in the process. Whose ego needs to be managed? That kind of practical buffer or check that you can give them will be greatly appreciated because it makes it more likely that they will successfully carry out an idea. As you probably already guessed, there is an obvious danger to this approach. ENTPs get bored very easily, especially with people. Projecting consistency and stability can very quickly be seen as predictability, which is to be avoided at all costs. So here's what you do. You use the fact that you will start to look predictable to your advantage by, every now and then, doing something that is completely unexpected and seemingly out of character. If you like to stay home a lot, then randomly find a new place to go on a night out and invite them. You can decide on how much pre-planning you want to do without them knowing. Obviously, you can't fake actually being interesting to them. So one thing I'll add is to cultivate a sense of mystery about yourself. Don't be quick to give away information and indulge the inquisitive prodding that will undoubtedly be inflicted upon you by ENTPs. The more that you hold back in the short term, the more interesting facts about yourself or facets of your character you can reveal to them. Always keep them guessing. and imagining what might be at the core of your personality, without feeling the need to confirm any thoughts they have about you. Because ENTPs can size you up very quickly, based on very little data, if you're not careful. This is not the same as being deceitful. By all means, be an open book. Just make them wait a while for each new edition.